The big screens in Times Square went black all at once. Then they came back on, showing the same face, a face that was not human. Tae-ho Kim stood frozen in the middle of the crowd. His coffee cup slipped from his hand, splashing hot liquid on his shoes. He did not notice. "People of Earth," said the face on the screen. Its skin was pale blue with small ridges where eyebrows should be. "I am Ambassador Vorix of the Daedalus Confederation. We come in peace." Within hours, the whole world knew. Aliens were real, and they had come to Earth. 3 days later, Tae-ho sat in a room with world leaders. As South Korea's top diplomat, he had been picked to speak for humanity. His hands were steady, but his heart raced. "Ambassador Vorix," Tae-ho said, "we welcome you to Earth." The alien bowed slightly. Behind Vorix stood 4 other aliens, each different from the others. One had skin like tree bark. Another had 3 eyes in a triangle pattern. The third was small with fur covering its face. The last one was tall and thin with hands that had 7 fingers each. "The Daedalus Confederation includes 37 species," Vorix said. "We have watched your planet for many years. We believe humans may join us one day." "We are honored," said Tae-ho, though he wondered why advanced aliens would want humans to join them. The meeting went on for hours. The aliens asked about Earth's nations, our technology, and our history. They seemed most interested in how humans dealt with conflict. "You have had many wars," said Vorix. "Yes," Tae-ho admitted, "but we have also made much progress toward peace." When Tae-ho mentioned human space exploration, he noticed the aliens exchange quick glances. "You are very brave," said Vorix. The way he said brave made it sound like strange, or maybe scary. After the meeting, Tae-ho met with his team in a secure room. "Did you notice?" asked Minho, his assistant. "They got nervous when we talked about space travel. And when we mentioned our military," added Eunji, the defense expert. "They kept asking about our weapons as if they were afraid." Tae-ho nodded. "They've been watching us for centuries," they said. "Why show themselves now?" The next day, Vorix asked to meet privately with Tae-ho. They walked in the gardens outside the UN building. "Your people have a unique quality," Vorix said. "You are resilient." "Thank you," said Tae-ho. "It is not always a compliment," Vorix said softly. "Some find it disturbing." Tae-ho stopped walking. "Are you saying some aliens are afraid of humans?" Vorix's face changed color slightly, turning a deeper blue. "I have said too much. But know this, your species is unlike most others we have met." That night, Tae-ho could not sleep. He looked at the stars through his hotel window and wondered what Vorix had meant. His phone rang. It was the president. "They want to test us," the president said. "The aliens have proposed a series of trials to see if we are compatible with their society." "What kind of tests?" asked Tae-ho. "They wouldn't say exactly, but they want us to send our best people." Tae-ho thought about Vorix's words about humans being resilient and how some found it disturbing. "Sir," he said to the president, "I don't think these are just tests to see if we can join them." "What do you mean?" "I think they're trying to find out how dangerous we are." As he ended the call, Tae-ho saw a light moving across the night sky. The alien ship in orbit. He wondered what they really wanted from Earth, and why they seemed both impressed and afraid of humans. Whatever these tests were, Tae-ho knew one thing. Humanity needed to be ready. Major Jae-young Park stood tall as she faced her team. There were 5 of them. Han Sol, the scientist, Da Jun, the engineer, Yuna, the doctor, and Jin, the soldier. Jae-young was their leader. "We have been chosen," she said. "We will take the alien tests for Earth." They were in a large hangar at the military base. Outside, reporters waited to see the humans who would represent Earth in the Confederation's trials. "Do we know what these tests are?" asked Jin, checking his gear for the 10th time. Jae-young shook her head. "They will tell us when we get there." A soft hum filled the air. The wall of the hangar slid open, revealing the small ship. It was smooth and silver, with no visible windows. A door appeared in its side. Ambassador Vorex stepped out, followed by 2 other aliens. "It is time," he said. The team said goodbye to their families. Then they boarded the alien ship. "Where are we going?" asked Han Solo as they took their seats. "To our main ship in orbit," said Vorex. "The first test will begin there." The ride to space was smooth, nothing like the rough rockets humans used. In minutes, they docked with a massive ship that hung above Earth like a small moon. They were led to a large room with a glass wall. Behind the glass was another room with a metal door on the far side. "The first test is simple," said Vorex. "You must control a hexapod ravager." "What is that?" asked Jia. Vorex pressed a button. The metal door in the other room opened. A creature walked out. It had 6 legs and a body like a giant insect. Its head was large with 4 eyes and a mouth full of sharp teeth. It stood as tall as a horse but looked far more dangerous. "This is a hexapod ravager," said Vorex. "Many species in the Confederation use them as guard animals. You must show you can control one." Jia looked at her team. They all seemed nervous, except for Jin, who was studying the creature with interest. "How do we do this?" asked Jia. "One of you will enter the room. You must make the Ravager obey a simple command. We will give you a special sound device that can hurt the Ravager if you are in danger." Jia stepped forward. "I'll do it." Vorex seemed surprised. "You volunteer so quickly. Most species spend days preparing for this test." "We're ready now," said Jia. She took the sound device and went through a small door into the room with the Ravager. The creature turned to look at her. It made a low hissing sound. Jia remembered her father's words about training dogs. "They can smell fear. Show them you are in charge." She walked toward the Ravager slowly but with confidence. She kept her eyes on its 4 eyes, never looking away. The Ravager hissed louder and took a step back. Behind the glass, Vorex and the other aliens watched with wide eyes. "She is looking directly at it," one whispered. "How can she do that?" Jia kept walking forward. The Ravager backed up until it hit the wall. Jia stopped just in front of it. "Sit," she said firmly, pointing down. The Ravager made another hiss, but then slowly lowered itself to the ground. Jia reached out and placed her hand on its head. The Ravager stayed still. When she walked back to the door, the Ravager followed her like a pet. Back in the observation room, her team cheered. But Jia noticed that Vorex and the other aliens were not happy. They looked worried. "Is something wrong?" Jia asked. "Did I pass the test?" "Yes," said Vorex quietly. "Too well. Most species cannot even look at a Ravager without freezing in fear. None have ever controlled one so quickly." Jia smiled. "What's the next test?" Vorex looked at his fellow aliens. "We need to discuss something first." They huddled together, speaking in low voices. Jia went to her team. "They're scared of us," she whispered. "But why?" "I don't know," said Han Solo. "But I think these tests aren't about joining them. They're about something else." Jia looked back at the Ravager, now sitting calmly where she had left it. "Whatever they're planning," she said, "we need to be ready." Du Hyun Kang rubbed his tired eyes. For 3 days, he had been studying the alien data. As one of Earth's top scientists, he had been given access to the Confederation's biological database. "This can't be right," he said to himself. The door to his lab opened. Sun Mayun walked in. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and quick movements. She worked in intelligence. "Find anything interesting?" she asked. Do Hyun pointed to his screen. "Look at this. I've been studying the biology of all 37 species in the Confederation." Sun Mai leaned closer. "And?" "They're all prey animals," said Du Hyun. "Every single one evolved from creatures that were hunted, not hunters." He showed her more data. Their eyes are on the sides of their heads for better all-around vision. Their ears can turn to hear danger from any direction. They have natural flight responses. They run from danger rather than fight it. So, asked Sunmei, so humans are different. We evolved from predators. Our eyes face forward for better depth perception when hunting. We chase things down. We don't give up. Sunmei thought about this. Are you saying they're afraid of us because we're predators? I think so, said Du-hyun. Look at what happened with Jae-young and the Ravager test. She stared it down. That's a predator move. Prey animals don't make eye contact. It's too scary for them. Sunmei sat down. I found something too. I've been monitoring their communications. You broke their encryption. Du-hyun was impressed. No, but I can track message patterns. They've been sending a lot of urgent messages since Jae-young passed the test, and they keep using one phrase I've managed to isolate. She showed him her tablet. They keep mentioning something called the Chained One. Do-hyun frowned. What does that mean? I don't know, but they seem very worried about it. Just then, Do-hyun's computer beeped. He had set it to search for any information about human biology in the alien database. I found something, he said. He opened the file. It was heavily encrypted, but parts were readable. Look at this, he said. Species 4672, designation, human, threat assessment, high. Notes, shows alarming similarities to ancient enemy. Ancient enemy, said Sunmei. Who's that? Do-hyun kept reading. Humans display dangerous traits. Persistence hunting, pack coordination, tool use with intent to harm, abstract problem solving, and most concerning, lack of instinctive fear response. They're afraid of us because we're not afraid enough. Sunmei shook her head in disbelief. It gets worse, said Do-hyun. Recommendation. Limited contact only. Observe for signs of awakening. If detected, implement containment protocol. Sunmei stood up. We need to warn Jae-young and her team. These tests, they're not to see if we can join them. They're to see how dangerous we are. Do-hyun nodded. But what is the ancient enemy? And what is the Chained One? Sunmei was already heading for the door. I don't know, but I think we'd better find out fast. In space, on the Confederation ship, Jae-young and her team were preparing for their second test. Orcs had been acting strange, watching them closely. Jin approached Jae-young. Major, something's wrong. I overheard two aliens talking. They said something about accelerating the schedule. What schedule? Asked Jae-young. I don't know, but they sounded scared. Jae-young looked out the viewport at Earth below. Beautiful and blue, unaware of what might be coming. Stay alert, she told her team. I don't think we're guests anymore. I think we're being evaluated as a threat. Back on Earth, Sunmei was racing to the command center with Do-hyun right behind her. They had to warn everyone. The aliens weren't here to welcome humanity to the stars. They were here to decide if humans were too dangerous to live. Sunmei sat in a dark room surrounded by screens. Do-hyun stood behind her, watching as she worked. I took everything we know about the Chained One and ran it through our systems, she said. Then I matched it with data we've collected from the alien ship. Did you find anything? Asked Do-hyun. Sunmei nodded. Look at this. She pulled up an image on the main screen. It showed a star map with one point glowing red. This is a planet they call Tartarus. The aliens mention it a lot in their private messages, always with high security. Tartarus, said Do-hyun. In Greek myths, that was the deepest part of the underworld, where the gods sent their enemies. Exactly, said Sunmei. And look what happens when I search for both the Chained One and Tartarus together. She typed quickly. New files appeared on the screen. These are fragments I pieced together from different sources, she explained. The aliens are very careful not to keep complete information in one place. Do-hyun read the first fragment aloud. The containment protocol has held for 12,000 cycles. The chained one remains dormant. He moved to the next one. Energy levels stable. Sedation continues as scheduled. Guardians report no signs of consciousness. Sun Mei pointed to another fragment. Reminder to all watchers. Direct mental contact with the entity is forbidden. The last attempt resulted in the loss of an entire Guardian team. They're keeping something prisoner, said Du Hyun. Something powerful. Something they're terrified of, added Sun Mei. Look at this one. If the chained one ever breaks free, all that we have built across the stars will end. Do Hyun sat down heavily. But what does this have to do with humans? Sun Mei pulled up one more file. This is from their first scan of Earth, over 1,000 years ago. The third planet shows concerning signs. The dominant species bears troubling similarities to the ancient enemy. Recommend monitoring for parallel development. They think we're like whatever they have chained up, said Du Hyun. That's why they're so afraid of us. The door opened. Tae-ho walked in quickly. We have a problem, he said. The alien ship has changed position. It's now between Earth and our moon, and they've stopped all communication. Sun Mei looked worried. What about Ji Young and her team? No word from them, said Tae-ho. But our sensors detect strange energy readings from the ship. Do Hyun stood up. We need to tell them what we found. About the chained one. I already told the president, said Tae-ho. But what can we do? We can't reach the ship, and we don't have weapons that could hurt it. Sun Mei looked back at the star map showing Tartarus. Maybe we can't fight them, but we might be able to scare them. How? Asked Du Hyun. By finding out what this chained one really is, said Sun Mei. Knowledge is power. If they're this afraid of it, maybe we should know why. Meanwhile, on the alien ship, Ji Young and her team were being held in a small room. The door was locked. They took our devices, said Jin. And they're not telling us anything. Ji Young was looking out the small window. Earth seems so far away now. Something's happening, she said. Look. The others came to the window. The ship was moving into position between Earth and the moon. Are they planning to attack? Asked Yuna. I don't think so, said Ji Young. I think they're creating a shield. They're cutting Earth off from space. But why? Asked Da Jung. Because they're afraid of us, said Ji Young. And they don't want us going any further into space. Han Sol, who had been quiet, finally spoke. When I was in the lab section earlier, I saw something. A star map with a planet marked. They called it Tartarus. What's there? Asked Ji Young. I don't know, said Han Sol. But one of the aliens said, if the humans ever reach Tartarus, everything ends. Ji Young looked back at Earth. Then that's where we need to go. Tae-ho stood before the screen, facing Ambassador Vorex. The alien's blue skin looked darker than before, almost gray with stress. Ambassador, why have you cut off communications? Tae-ho asked. Why is your ship blocking our access to space? It is for your own safety, said Vorex. And for ours. Our team. Tae-ho began. They are safe, Vorex cut in. But they will remain with us. Tae-ho felt anger rise in his chest. That is not acceptable. They must be returned to Earth at once. Vorex's face changed, showing an emotion Tae-ho could not read. I am sorry. The Confederation has made its decision. Earth is now under quarantine. Quarantine. Why? Your species is too unstable for galactic society, said Vorex. You will be contained on your planet until you evolve beyond your dangerous traits. How long will that take? Asked Tae-ho, though he feared the answer. Perhaps 1,000,000 years, said Vorex. Perhaps never. The screen went black. Tae-ho turned to the room full of world leaders behind him. Their faces showed shock, anger, and fear. They betrayed us, said the American president. They came pretending to be friends, but they planned to trap us all along. What do they mean by dangerous traits? Asked another leader. Taiho thought of what Sun Mai and Du Hyun had discovered. They mean our nature as predators, our willingness to fight, our refusal to give up. What can we do? Asked someone. Our weapons can't hurt their ships. Maybe not, said Taiho, but there might be another way. On the alien ship, Jae-young was working on an escape plan. Her team had discovered that the door to their room had a simple lock that Jin could break with tools made from their bed frames. Once we're out, what's the plan? Asked Yuna. We find a small ship, said Jae-young. Something we can fly back to Earth. And if we can't find one? Asked Dae-jung. Jae-young looked at him. Then we find out more about Tartarus and the Chained One. If that's what they fear, that's what we need to understand. Back on Earth, Sun Mai burst into the emergency meeting. We found something, she said. She put a small device on the table. It projected a 3D image of space. This is our solar system, she explained. And this, she pointed to a spot far beyond Pluto, is a hidden wormhole. The aliens use it to travel quickly between stars. How did you find this? Asked the president. We broke into more of their files, said Du Hyun, who had followed Sun Min. They have maps of all the wormholes in this sector of the galaxy. Sun Mi continued, and we found this. She changed the image to show a different star system with a small rocky planet. This is Tartarus, where they keep the Chained One. Can we get there? Asked Taiho. Maybe, said Sun Mi. We've been working on secret spaceships for years, faster than anything the public knows about. Not as good as alien ships, but maybe good enough to reach the wormhole. And then what? Asked a general. We have no idea what this Chained One is. It could be as dangerous to us as it is to them. True, said Taiho. But right now, the Confederation plans to keep us trapped on Earth forever. If they think we might free the Chained One, perhaps they will talk to us again. Or they might destroy Earth completely, warned the general. I don't think they will, said Du Hyun. They've been watching us for 1,000 years. If they wanted to destroy us, they would have done it long ago. They're afraid, yes. But there's something else, something they're not telling us. The president stood up. We need a small team, people who can go to Tartarus and find out what the Chained One really is. I'll go, said Sun Mi quickly. Me too, said Du Hyun. We know the most about the alien data. Taiho nodded. We'll need a military commander. I know just the person, said the general. Commander Jae-woo Han, our best pilot and strategist. Then it's decided, said the president. While we try to negotiate with the aliens, this team will go to Tartarus, find out what the Chained One is, and maybe, just maybe, find us a way out of this trap. As the meeting ended, Taiho looked out the window at the night sky. The alien ship was visible now, a dark shape against the moon. What are you really afraid of? He whispered to the distant ship. And what will we become when we find out? Commander Jae-woo Han checked the systems of the ship one last time. It was Earth's most advanced spacecraft, built in secret over the past decade. Its name was Shadow because it could hide from most sensors. Are we ready? He asked his crew. Sun Mi nodded from her station. Navigation is set. The wormhole is our target. All systems are green, reported Du Hyun. The stealth technology should hide us from the alien ship. Jae-woo looked at the other two crew members, Gai-ho the pilot and Soo-jin the weapons officer. Both gave him thumbs up. Then let's go, said Jae-woo. For Earth. The Shadow lifted off from a hidden base in the mountains. It rose quickly and silently into the night sky. Alien ship is on the far side of the moon, said Gai-ho. If we move now, they won't see us. The Shadow accelerated to full speed, heading away from Earth toward the outer planets. ETA to wormhole. 6 hours, said Sun Mi. Jae-woo turned to Du Hyun. Tell me more about Tartarus. What will we find there? Do Hyun brought up images on his screen. It's a small planet. Cold. Rocky. No atmosphere. The aliens built a facility there, deep underground. That's where they keep the Chained One. And we still don't know what it is, said Jae-woo. Not exactly, said Sunmei. But we have theories. The aliens call it the Ancient Enemy. They say it threatened the galaxy long ago. How can one being threaten an entire galaxy? Asked Soo-jin. That's what we need to find out, said Jae-woo. Meanwhile, on the alien ship, Ji-young and her team had broken out of their room. They moved quietly through the corridors, hiding whenever aliens passed by. The ship maps show the small transport vessels are on level 3, whispered Jin. Can you fly one? Ji-young asked. Jin nodded. I think so. Their controls are simple. They found the transport bay. 6 small ships sat ready. Jin checked the nearest one. This will work, he said. It can fly to Earth easily. Just then, alarms began to sound. Red lights flashed in the corridor. They know we're gone, said Yuna. Quick, into the ship, ordered Ji-young. They climbed aboard. Jin took the pilot's seat and started pressing buttons. Stop, came a voice from outside. Vorax stood there with guards. You cannot leave. Watch us, said Ji-young, closing the door. The small ship rose and turned toward the bay exit. The door began to close. Faster, urged Ji-young. Jin pushed the ship to full speed. They shot through the closing door with inches to spare. We're free, said Dae-jung. Not yet, said Ji-young, pointing ahead. More alien ships were launching to chase them. Back on the shadow, Sunmei suddenly pointed at her screen. I'm picking up a signal, she said. It's from the alien mothership, but it's a human signal. Can you contact them? Asked Jae-woo. Sunmei worked quickly. This is Earth Ship Shadow. Identify yourself. A familiar voice came through. This is Major Ji-young Park. We escaped the alien ship, but they're chasing us. We see you, said Sunmei. Head to these coordinates. On his own screen, Jae-woo watched as a small dot, Ji-young's stolen ship, raced away from several larger dots. They won't make it to Earth, he said. The aliens are faster. Then they'll come with us, decided Jae-woo. Change course to intercept. The shadow turned, heading back toward the inner solar system. What about the mission? Asked Do-hyun. We need to reach Tartarus. And we will, said Jae-woo. But we don't leave our people behind. The shadow raced toward the fleeing transport ship. The alien vessels were gaining on Ji-young. Weapons ready, said Jae-woo. But our weapons can't hurt their ships, said Soo-jin. They don't know that, said Jae-woo with a smile. Sometimes the threat is enough. The shadow dropped out of stealth mode directly between Ji-young's ship and the pursuing aliens. Its weapon systems locked on to the lead alien vessel. This is Commander Jae-woo Han of Earth, he broadcast. The ship you are chasing is under our protection. Back off now. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the alien ship slowed and stopped. It worked, said Sunmei. For now, said Jae-woo. Major Park, dock with us immediately. We're headed somewhere important. Where? Asked Ji-young. Jae-woo looked at the star map showing their destination. To meet the Chained One. The shadow flew through the wormhole. For a moment, everything twisted and stretched. The crew felt their bodies pull in strange ways. Then they were through, in a new star system. That was uncomfortable, said Ji-young, who now stood on the bridge with Jae-woo. But we made it, said Jae-woo. Sunmei, where is Tartarus? Sunmei checked her screens. There. The 4th planet from the star. They all looked at the view screen. Tartarus was small and gray, like a dead moon. I don't see any defenses, said Soo-jin. No ships, no weapons. They don't need them, said Do-hyun. No one comes here willingly. And the Confederation keeps it a secret. The shadow landed on the dark surface of Tartarus. The crew put on spacesuits. The facility is 2 miles that way, said Sunmei, pointing. Underground. They drove a small rover across the rocky ground. Soon, they found a large metal door built into the side of a mountain. "How do we get in?" asked Jin. Do-hyun studied the control panel. "I can hack this. It's similar to their ship systems." 10 minutes later, the doors slid open. They entered a long tunnel that led deep into the mountain. "There's air here," said Do-hyun, checking his instruments. "We can take off our helmets." The tunnel ended at another door. This one was different. It was made of a strange black metal that seemed to swallow light. "What is this material?" asked Jae-woo, touching it. "I don't know," said Do-hyun. "It's not in any Earth science database." Sunmei found another control panel. "This one needs a code." "Can you hack it?" asked Jo-young. Sunmei tried. "It's different from the other systems, more complex." Han-sol, who had been quiet, stepped forward. "Let me try something." He placed his hand on the panel. It lit up, scanning his palm. "How did you know to do that?" asked Jae-young. "I didn't," said Han-sol. "I just felt it was right." The black door opened slowly. Beyond it was a large round room. In the center stood a pillar of clear crystal. Inside the crystal was a figure. They walked closer. The figure was humanoid, but taller than a normal human. Its skin was pale, and it had long dark hair. It wore simple white clothes. "Is it human?" asked Yuna. "Not exactly," said Do-hyun, looking at readings on his device. "But close, very close." "The chained one," whispered Sunmei. "But it looks like us." "No," said Do-hyun, his voice filled with awe. "We look like it." Jae-woo turned to him. "What do you mean?" "Look at these DNA readings," said Do-hyun. "This being shares 99.7% of its DNA with humans. That's closer than humans and chimpanzees." "So it's related to us?" asked Jae-young. "No," said Do-hyun. "I think it is us. An ancient human. Maybe the first space-traveling humans from millions of years ago." Everyone stood silent, trying to understand. "The aliens didn't chain up a monster," said Sunmei slowly. "They chained up our ancestor." "But why?" asked Jin. At that moment, the crystal began to glow. The figure inside moved slightly. "It's waking up," said Jae-woo. "Impossible," said Sunmei. "The aliens keep it drugged and unconscious." "Maybe it senses us," suggested Do-hyun. "Maybe it knows we're here." The figure's eyes opened. They were deep and dark, like the night sky filled with stars. "It sees us," whispered Yuna. A voice filled their minds. Not sound, but clear words nonetheless. "My children," it said, "you have finally come." Jae-woo stepped forward. "Who are you?" "I am Hyun," said the voice, "the last of the first humans." "Why did they lock you up?" asked Jae-young. "Because they feared what humans might become," said Hyun. "What we already were." "And what is that?" asked Jae-woo. Hyun's eyes seemed to look through them, into the past and future at once. "The only predator in the galaxy to reach the stars," said Hyun. "The only species willing to challenge the gods." Jae-woo looked at the being in the crystal. Hyun's eyes were fixed on him, waiting. "We need to free you," Jae-woo said. "Are you sure that's wise?" asked Sunmei. "The entire Confederation fears this being." "That's exactly why we should free Hyun," said Jae-young. "The Confederation fears us too. They want to keep Earth trapped forever." Jae-woo stepped closer to the crystal. "How do we release you?" Hyun's voice filled their minds again. "The controls are there." A mental image showed them a panel hidden behind the crystal. Do-hyun found it and opened the panel. Inside were strange symbols and lights. "I can't read this," he said. "I can guide you," said Hyun. "But know this, once I am free, the Confederation will know. They will come." "Let them come," said Jae-woo. "Earth is already under quarantine. We have nothing to lose." Do-hyun followed Hyun's mental instructions. The crystal began to hum. Small cracks appeared on its surface. "Step back," warned Hyun. They moved away just as the crystal shattered. Pieces flew in all directions. Hyun stepped out, tall and graceful. Up close, Hyun looked both human and not. The face was human-like, but too perfect. The eyes held wisdom no normal person could have. "How long were you imprisoned?" asked Jae-dong. "By your counting, 3 million years," said Hyun, speaking aloud now. The voice was neither male nor female, but somewhere in between. 3 million years, gasped Yuna. "How did you survive?" "I was kept in suspended animation," said Hyun, "but my mind was awake. I dreamed. I planned. I waited. For us?" asked Jae-woo. "For my children to reach the stars," said Hyun. "To become what they were meant to be." Hyun walked around the room, touching the walls. Each touch left a glowing mark. "What are you doing?" asked Jin. "Waking this facility," said Hyun. "It was mine once, before they took it." The walls began to glow with symbols and images. Screens appeared, showing star systems and planets. "I need to know what has happened while I slept," said Hyun. "Tell me about Earth." While Sunmai and Do-hyun told Hyun about human history, Jae-woo stepped aside with Jae-dong. "Do you trust this being?" he asked quietly. "I'm not sure," said Jae-dong. "But I feel connected to Hyun. Don't you?" Jae-woo nodded slowly. "Yes. Like finding a part of myself I didn't know was missing." Their talk was interrupted by an alarm from Soo-jin's device. "Ships are coming through the wormhole," she reported. "Many ships." "The Confederation," said Hyun, not sounding surprised. "They felt me wake." "We need to leave," said Jin. "Get back to the shadow." "There is no time," said Hyun. "Their ships are faster than yours." "Then what do we do?" asked Jae-woo. Hyun smiled for the first time. It was a warm smile, but with an edge of something dangerous. "Watch," said Hyun. Hyun placed both hands on a large panel in the center of the room. The entire facility began to shake. Lights flashed, and a deep humming filled the air. "What's happening?" asked Jo-young. "This facility is more than a prison," said Hyun. "It is also a ship, my ship." The mountain around them began to crack open. Dust and rocks fell away. Huge engines, hidden for millions of years, roared to life. "Can you fight the Confederation ships?" asked Jae-woo. "I don't need to fight them," said Hyun. "They will run when they see me." Outside, the mountain continued to break apart, revealing a massive ship that had been hidden inside. It rose slowly into the sky of Tartarus. In space, the Confederation fleet emerged from the wormhole. Dozens of ships of all sizes approached Tartarus. Then they stopped. On their screens, they saw the ancient ship rising from the planet's surface. On the command ship, Vorek stared in horror. "It cannot be," he whispered. "The Chained One is free." "Orders, sir?" asked his second in command. Before Vorex could answer, all their screens filled with Hyun's face. "Hello, jailers," said Hyun. "Did you miss me?" Vorex stood on his ship, staring at Hyun's face on the screen. His blue skin had turned pale with fear. "All ships, prepare to fire," he ordered. "Wait," said Hyun, voice calm. "Is that how you greet an old friend?" "You are no friend," said Vorex. "You are a danger to the galaxy." On Hyun's ship, the humans watched this exchange with tense faces. "Can we win if they attack?" Jae-woo asked Hyun. "There will be no need for that," said Hyun with a small smile. Suddenly, all the Confederation ships went dark. Their lights turned off, their engines stopped. They floated helplessly in space. "What did you do?" asked Jae-young, amazed. "A simple command," said Hyun. "While I was prisoner, my mind traveled through their systems. I learned their secrets." On the main screen, they could see panic on Vorex's ship as the aliens tried to restore power. "Now," said Hyun, "we talk." A flash of light filled the room. When it faded, Vorex stood before them. brought aboard through some technology the humans didn't understand. Vorax looked around wildly, then froze when he saw Hyun. "You should have killed me when you had the chance," said Hyun. We could not," said Vorax. "Our nature does not allow us to kill, even when we know we should. And that is why you fear us so much," said Hyun. "Because humans can make that hard choice when needed." Jae-woo stepped forward. "Why did you imprison Hyun? And why quarantine Earth?" Vorax looked at the humans. "You don't understand. Before the Confederation, the galaxy was wild, dangerous. Then we brought peace. You brought control," corrected Hyun. "You decided how all species should evolve. Those that didn't fit your vision were changed or contained. For the good of all," insisted Vorax. "Tell them what you did to Earth," said Hyun, voice hard. Vorax looked down. 3 million years ago, we found Earth. Humans were just starting to evolve. You were like Hyun's people, predators with high intelligence. We had seen what such species could become." "So what did you do?" asked Sunmi. "We adjusted your path," said Vorax. "Slowed your development. Added genes for more fear, less aggression. Made you forget the stars. You played God with our evolution," said Do-hyun, anger in his voice. "Hyun discovered what we were doing," continued Vorax. "Tried to stop us. We could not kill Hyun, so we imprisoned, waiting for the drugs to finally end Hyun's life. But it never happened. And now Earth has developed space travel anyway," said Jae-woo. "Despite your tampering." "Yes," said Vorax. "You are becoming what we feared, what Hyun's people were." Hyun placed a hand on Jae-woo's shoulder. "Do you know what the Confederation really fears? Not that humans will destroy. They fear that humans will create a different future, one they cannot control." "What happens now?" asked Jo-young. Hyun looked at Vorax. "End the quarantine on Earth. Recognize humans as free people with the right to travel the stars." "And if we refuse?" asked Vorax. Hyun didn't answer with words. Instead, Hyun simply looked up. The ceiling of the room became transparent, showing the stars above. Among them, tiny points of light appeared, thousands of them, moving in formation. "My people were not all captured," said Hyun softly. "Some escaped to the edges of the galaxy, waiting, watching. I've called them home." Vorax fell to his knees. "You would destroy everything we built." "No," said Jae-woo, stepping between them. "That's not what humans do. Not what we want." He looked at Hyun. "We don't want to rule the galaxy or destroy the Confederation. We just want our freedom." Hyun nodded slowly. "My child speaks wisely. Better than I would have." Hyun turned to Vorax. "Here is my offer, peace in exchange for truth. Tell all species what you did. Let them choose their own paths." Vorax looked from Hyun to the humans and back. "You have changed. 3 million years of dreaming will do that," said Hyun. "I had time to think about what really matters." Later, as they prepared to return to Earth, Jae-young asked Hyun, "The title of this story, Who Bit God?" Hyun smiled. "The Confederation thought they were gods, taming the galaxy's beasts, but they forgot something important." "What?" asked Jae-woo. "Even gods should fear the predator that refuses to be tamed," said Hyun, looking to the stars where Earth waited, finally free.